Hi everyone, it's Beverly Cole. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, well, welcome. Today we're going to be making 3D scenes out of magazines for our journals. But first, I have a little reminder for you. When you put this in your book, this book still has room, and I have a space here between my signatures. I have 3 signatures in this book. There's space between them because I tend to add things and they get chunky. In order to create this 3-dimensional page, what I look for in the magazine is images about the same subject in different sizes. Here I found a beautiful garden with a fence around it, and on another page I found this close-up of the gate. There's people, there's plants, and then on the other side there's also a picture. However, this one I have to sacrifice in order to get this large one. What I do first with the photograph on the page is to cut it down, and I'm going to be putting it in this book on this page across from these flowers. I thought that might be nice, and I measured the page and it's 5 by 8. So I put it through my paper trimmer and I cut it down to 5 by 8 right here. I'll put these aside just in case I need them. So this will be the background. Let me get the book down again. This will be the background on this page. Fits perfectly. It's a 1-page layout. It's not really difficult to do. It looks difficult, but it's not. Very first thing I'm going to do is not glue this in yet. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But what I will do is I will start by cutting out this gate. Before I can cut it out though, in order to make this flimsy magazine page strong, I need to attach it to a piece of cardstock. It fits well. The only thing that's going to be actually gone would be maybe some of this edge. I really do want this, at least this, and maybe this, and some of the plants, and perhaps the people. I will use my art glitter glue to glue this down. Then I'm going to take my brayer and press the glue. If you don't have a brayer, use a credit card, use anything that you have that could push the glue. Maybe a bone folder. And we'll let that dry. Here's the background, and I've cut out the fence, and I've cut out plants, and I've cut out a lady and an urn of flowers. But before we can add any of those things, we need to have the means to hold them in place. What I'm using is a simple piece of cardstock cut to the length of the page, which we know is 8 inches. I wrote it under here, 5 by 8. We're going to do 8 by 4. 8 by 4 twice. Here's 8 by 4 and 8 by 4. 2 pieces easily cut out of a piece of cardstock. I'm going to use my bone folder and my paper trimmer in here to do the scoring, since I do not have a scoreboard with me. I have one, but it's back in my house. We're going to do them this way, and they're going to be every 1/2 inch. So let's simply line this up at a 1/2 inch and then get in here and score. You just want to be careful you don't score too deeply and mess up. You could puncture the paper, but you know, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't. So it's here. So now I go to 1 inch over here, which will give me another. Let me get this blade out of the way. Don't need to cut it. We're just scoring. Just nice and easy. A couple of light strokes with your bone folder, stylus, whatever you use. And you can easily score every 1/2 inch. I'm just looking at this now. I'm at 2, so I'll move over to 1.5. I'm going twice because I'm being very light. And then to 1 inch. And then to a 1/2 inch. We'll do that on both of them. Easy peasy. Now these two pieces, I'm going to do a fan fold or a concertina fold, whatever you want to call it. And as you fold, careful to keep it in a nice, neat little pile. Oh, it's a little wider. I'm going to have to bring it up to this line. If your folds aren't exact, just try to work it to the next line there. There we go. Okay. You want to keep it neat. When we were little kids and made them, it didn't matter if it was perfect, but when you're crafting like this, you want to try to make it as even and neat as you can. And you know, this isn't hard. This is not hard. We've done this how many times in our lifetime? Here we are, okay? And the same thing with the other one. Here we are. We have our two little concertinas. These are going to give us that 3D look. This is how it will work. Very easy. First thing I'm going to do is glue this in. And I'm just going to glue around the edges, and we just want to glue down to the background nice and evenly. Okay. And if your page is flimsy, it might be a good idea to attach this also to a piece of cardstock. You know, some of the pages I've shown you that I had to strengthen them because of the flimsiness. This is not that flimsy though. This page is good. This is, remember this? It's on the other side. So it's pretty sturdy. I'm gonna do this one right here. It's already been trimmed to the size of the page. Push that down. Yeah, use this. That'll work. And that's our background, done. Now we're going to decide where we want to put our pictures. Now this one, I've cut them all out after attaching them to cardstock, but you can see even when I try to glue the whole page, you're going to have spots that are not glued. So I'm going over these little points, make sure they're glued down. Edges of my gate, make sure it's glued. Let me get a piece of deli paper in order to ink the edges of my pieces. I have this, and I need some walnut stain. This is a pretty dark piece. Get my little sponge. The back first. Get into all those crevices around all the edges of all the pieces that I cut out. Okay, I'm going to turn that over, and then I'm going to do the front, because cutting, you kind of can get some spots where the paper will separate itself from the cardstock, and this way we cover all those little places. There, okay. Just put a little bit there. And there's our gate. So let's see where we want to put these things. Before we use them, I'm going to ink them so that they are green. That's an easy thing, right? I could have done this earlier, but not a big deal. If we don't need to do the fronts and backs, they're going to be glued down. What we need is the edges, because what will happen is they'll kind of be like that. So you'll see. Don't need all the inside, just the edges. You can hold them together. You probably could just take the ink pad, do that, but I like using a sponge. Okay, so yeah, there we go. That's it. No big deal. Same thing with these little pieces. All these little pieces, we want to ink the edges of those, because we really don't want to see that white, you know, where it's attached to the cardstock. So let's just ink those. Slate. So far, I think that's all I'm going to attach. So let's make this into a three-dimensional scene. Oh, Bev. Oh my goodness. I knew I'd do something wrong. Okay, so what happened here was this is supposed to go under here. So I'm going to have another piece of background to kind of hide that. But that's not bad because I can just cut a piece of this. Remember, I told you we don't want to throw any of this stuff away yet because you never know. And there's a perfect example of not knowing. So what I need is a 1/2 inch by 9 piece of this. I'm going to cut it at a 1/2 inch, and then we're going to see where it matches the best. Okay. Yes, I have layers of stuff underneath this paper trimmer. Very gentle. Because of my blade. All right, so here we go. This is not so difficult. You make a mistake, you fix it. What I would usually do, I would put it underneath here. So we might need 2 pieces of this. I'm going to just add this and see how it just matches up because it's pretty much from the same thing. I'm gluing this front and back. First, let's glue this piece onto here. Now, if I had remembered and not glued my page down right away, this would have been underneath. But because I didn't, and I can't put it under, I have to dress it up in order to fix it. Okay, so just clip that off. That's extra. So now you can see this will be hidden by doing that. Isn't that cool? All right, so let's glue that in place. Not hard. I just made it harder. So you have this background, and then you have these. One here, one over here. Same thing. I can't put it back here because it's going to be on this page. You know, we don't want that, right? No. So I have to cut another piece, cut a 1/2 inch. I'm going to glue this on. And even though it won't match exactly, what it will do is camouflage it. Now we glue that on to the background. 3-dimensional. Line it up on your page. So now we have these and our background. Time to add more. Now the closest thing to you will be this fence. If we look at this one that I did before, this pretty much covers that whole piece, except for right down here. So we need to cover that also before we can add this fence. We need to camouflage this also. So once again, a piece of this, 1/2 inch wide. And this edge looks big enough to be 1 inch, so I'm going to cut 2 slices of it. Let's do it this way. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. Hard to cut little skinny pieces with this kind of trimmer. If you needed to, you could tape it with a little piece of washi tape, and I think I'll do that just to show how that works. Here's some washi. I love this washi. 1/2 inch there. Okay, that should hold that part. And then up here, just a tiny piece. So this will hold it while I cut. Because little skinny, where's my blade? My blade fell out? Cereal. Oh, here it is. All right, easy peasy with the blade. Through the tape. Okay, there's one. Got to move this over. We want another 1/2 inch piece. So now we have those pieces, and it's because of this. If this was a piece that covered it all, then we wouldn't have to deal with this, but it doesn't. So I'm going to attach a piece of the background here. Carefully add your 1/2 inch strip of background along your folded piece. Okay, nice. And now we have that other piece that we just cut right here. And we're going to add that. See, the trees go to the top, and then the bottom will just end wherever. So remember, it's the front one, the front of this thing right here. This is where you're going to add your front piece or pieces. It's really fun because you're building a scene, and you start with a scene in a magazine, a big picture. That's, you know, like a big landscape picture like this. And then you look for the other things in the layout of the magazine that would go with it. Or you might find some things in your stash or from another layout that work also. Okay, so here we have this. Look at that. Isn't that great? Okay, now we add the inserts, or the outserts, if that's a word. I don't think it is. This will be our gate. I'm just going to attach it to this piece over here, right there, all the way up to the edge. Clean up the extra glue, and there we are. the gate is in place. That's our closest to our eye. It's far down on the page, like we've talked in past videos, and it's large. Now we can put in the other things, and as we put them in, they'll be further back and they will be higher up. I want to do the lady first, I think, because she's definitely got to be on this side. Look if she was on this side. We'd be, what is that? We want it to be a lady. So we have 1, 2, 3 more places where we could put things. And this one's kind of close to the front. So I'm going to put it in the second one here. Well, 1, 2, Valley's right here. And I'm going to attach her because she will be working in there. I think she needs to be a little bit lower. I'm going to put her here. Okay. Not too far in. All right. So she's there. Then we have the plant, which is larger. Put the plant probably down in here. So I'm gonna just make this straight like that. Remember, we've already inked all the edges of this. So this is the front. I'm just gonna go down 1, 2, I'm gonna go right here. So when we look at that, we see the plant, we see the lady, and we see the gate. Oops, getting kind of stuck there. Okay, now there's a plant pot. There's a pot right here. Okay, let's just put this on the outside of the gate. Why not? Attach it so that it's on the ground. There we go. So when we look in here, we see the gate, a plant, and the lady. The gate doesn't go all the way across, so you'll see in a few minutes what we do with that. But I think we need some green up here. And I do have some trees and things here. And I do this because, well, I've thought of doing the other thing with the wet Q-tip, but it's on cardstock. So I'm not sure how exactly that would work. I should probably play with it and see. All right, so what I want to do is I want to put the tree coming this way because she's here. And I want that here. So I'm going to just trim it till it's straight, and then I'm just going to glue it. And it's glued in as far back as I'm not in the very back, but I'm 1 fold up. Okay, so now the next thing to do is that we're going to glue all these together right here. You're just going to run glue inside all of your accordions, all of your folds, and press down. This art glitter glue dries pretty quickly. It gives you a second or 2 to move, but then that's it. So if I just press this down like this, it's going to stick. Then I have to put glue on these on the inside. So you put glue on the outside ones, and then you put glue on the inside so that they are a sturdy side frame. Okay, so there's that frame. Look at that. It's holding everything in. Then I'm going to do the same thing over here. It doesn't matter if you do the inside or the outside first. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. And then all of the outside. I just think these are so much fun and they're so interesting. I love this. Now, you can leave it this way. Okay, and you can look through your book and you get to this page and it's like, oh, look how cool this is, right? But this is not attached because it's not long enough, and these are kind of flimsy. So what I did with this one, if you look at it from the side, you see it in there? I used dimensional tape, and depending on how far back you are, you're going to layer it. So first here, I have thinner one. Let me get the skinnier one. And then you just want a piece to help things stay raised. Now this is in the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a piece up here and I'm going to double it. That's easy. All you do is cut, and then I'm going to put them face to face. And no one's going to see these, so not a big deal. I just need it to be thicker. And I do have 3 layers. This is the back. This is the second. She's on the second. So I think I might have to make this 3 layers. I think that's what I did before. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3. And I'm using the skinnier one because of the fence. It's skinny. If you have fatter tape, you can always cut it down the middle and make it skinnier. So I have 3 layers. Then I cut it off. Oh, but when you attach them, you want to make sure there's no paper. I think there's paper in between these 2. Yeah, you have to take the paper off the middle one, off one side. Yep, there we go. Then they can stick to each other. So now I'll go on the back of my fence and I'm just gonna fit this right there. And that will keep my fence from moving. And if it bothers you that there's a little bit of white that you can kind of see, I came up with this idea just now. Take a Q-tip and put some ink on it and try to, cover that up. Hey, that works. Same thing with the further things back. I'm not even sure that plant needs it, but we'll do it anyway, just to show ya. Okay, 2 layers. Stick it behind that plant where no one can see it. 1 piece behind the lady. And if you don't want to do this, skip this step, just leave it. I just thought this really keeps it 3-dimensional instead of being squashed in your book. Oh, this page probably wasn't the best one. I will show you. Yeah, this is not the right thing to do. I will show you with the other one. Do not put your page in a place where there's nowhere for it to go. The best place for this page would have been where 2 of your signatures come together and you have space. Unfortunately, I didn't do that. And I went ahead and put it on a regular page, which you do not want to do. You don't want it here because this won't be able to close well. You're gonna have a bunch there. See how it doesn't close right? Because of where it is. So I'll show you with the other one. Then we just need 1 long piece for this tree. And we didn't ink the tree. Inking the edges, it really does help with the dimension. Plus it covers up all the cut edges, so that's always nice. Okay, so now I'll just peel that tape off, and it's just 1, because it's way back. So the front ones need to be at the bottom, bigger and more tape to make them stick out more. Then further back, higher up and smaller, and less dimensional tape. And then the tree is way in the back, kind of cute. So you can do this with anything, but that one doesn't close right because of where I put it. Learn by my mistakes, not yours. Let's look at this book again. I have a few books going at once here. This one has a lot of purple in it, so I thought that would be nice. Notice there's a space here. This is where the 2 signatures come together. You want to do that where you have that space because this is going to be thick. Look how thick it is. And when you close it, it takes up that space and it's great. Same way as the other one. I had a background piece. I did those 2 folds and then I had the pieces cut out. These were all put on cardstock first. And these leaves are separate. Some of them are separate from the actual plant. So you can see here, this one's further back. It's further back in the folds than this one. This one's in the front. When you fold, this one's on top and this one's on top. And then as you go down, this one's further down. So this is 3 pieces of tape. This is 2. But the thing is, this leaf is attached to here. Okay, so if you decide you need something else, it's kind of cool when they overlap each other. See how this is on one side and this is on the other side? That's pretty cool the way that happens. I tore, the edge of the page, that natural edge, and I added some rickrack in green. And then I had an extra piece that I had already cut out when I was setting this all up. So I just attached it here, and there's 2 little tuck spots. What I'm gonna do here, because I know this page is flimsy like that, I have to add something stronger on this side. So I will do this and this. These are 2 little paintings that I did with collage, and they're gonna go here. Okay, and that'll be sturdier on the back of this page. Here's another idea that I have using the same technique, but we're gonna start with some of these little great pictures. Grid, that's the word, grid. Great, where'd that come from? Let's see, grid pictures. So I'm gonna cut this lady out, and I would consider her the background. Flowers that are further away, and then some flowers that are close up. I'm not sure which ones I want for this page, but I'm going to have to make some decisions. So let's go for one facing this way. Is there one? That's pretty. I like this one down here, this little one. I mean, it's only going to be this little background with this lady, so that's kind of small. We don't want anything too large, so this would be good. Now I'll attach them to cardstock. And then I want this lady, of course, I want her on something sturdy. So there's several steps. First one, find your images, small, medium, large. Background, small flowers, medium, large flowers. In this case, the large is not that large. Then we need to build our little things to connect. But you know, I'm even thinking maybe just regular paper might be better than cardstock with this one because it's so small. Okay, let's try regular paper and see what happens. So the picture is 3 inches high by 2.5. So 3 inches high by 2.5. So 3 inches high, maybe we'll make this 1/4 inch folds and maybe do 6 of them. So 1.5 inches. Ooh, listen to my math. I hope I'm right. 1.5 inches. Wow, tiny. I'm just gonna eyeball it because they're so small. 1, 2, 3, it really doesn't matter. 4, 5. Look at that. Wow. Okay, so those are gonna go on either side of our picture. Boom, boom. Let's cut her down to 3 inches exactly. It's easier to cut her if the magazine's on the bottom. And then I'm going to cut that little edge off as well. Okay, so then we have these. Okay, and you can ink those up and everything right now, but I am not going to do that. What I'm going to do is what I should have done before, and that's put this behind her picture. Okay, and then we'll cut our little pictures to fit. So this could be just a little book that you could put inside a pocket, or you could make it into a tiny journal. Make a journal this tall and put this inside. And I want to use this to be out like this. So we need to get rid of quite a bit and just have the flowers so that we can see the lady in the background. So we have some flowers. We need a tiny bit more up there. So we'll just cut a little tiny piece of green. This. Glue that on first. Working tiny. Our paper's coming apart. That's nothing unusual. We know. The way we use the glue, we may have to re-glue a few little places, and that's just fine. It's playing again, playing with your magazines. And then I'm going to glue this right here. It's funny how that flower is right in front of her hat, but I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're playing. A little different than the other one, but that's okay. We're still playing with that little accordion fold on the side. Same picture. We'll just cut it down facing the other direction. And I'm not being real exact because, you know what, you could go crazy trying to make everything look pretty perfect, but it doesn't matter. We're just having fun and pretending that we know what we're doing. They are flowers with petals, so when you cut them, cut the petals, even if they're not perfect, your eye knows it's a flower. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Oh, look how cute that is. All right, so I'm going to cut this white off, and I think I want to put it back a little further. So we'll just cut some of this off, and we'll ink down here a little bit. Okay, I'm showing you different ways you can do this. Where's my flowers? There they are. Okay, so I want to ink the edges of this too, because I did the other one, and then that will go there. Working tiny. Working it tiny. We're doing 3-dimensional scenes. How cute. All right, now she's in the back. These are flowers in the front. And then we can add bigger flowers, stick them right in front again. And we can put a little piece of tape in there to make them stick out more. I want them at the bottom, like there. So I'm just gonna put a piece of that tape on the back. I love it, I love it. I'm having so much fun. All right, one little piece, because this is not really deep. We're just gonna put one little piece of tape, kind of ink up those little edges. If you wanted to use a different color, you could. Course. All right, so that little piece of tape, what did I do with it? Did I put it on the back already? Yeah, my goodness, Bev. Yeah, so little piece of tape. Make sure it's stuck to the front and not to the back. This is stuck to the back. Gotta move it over. You know what's easier even? Put it here. How's that? And then stick your flower on. And it doesn't have to be in the frame this time either. How cute is that? And let me tell you a few magazines that are really good, okay? I've discovered that HGTV magazine is awesome, okay? And of course I love Better Homes and Gardens and Good Housekeeping, but I discovered that HGTV is where I found these images that are in different sizes like this. Found them mostly at that magazine. I went over to Carlene's and she had one I could use, and I said, I'm taking this magazine. She said, go for it. I love this one. That is adorable. I love it. Nothing way in the back so much, but it's okay. The flowers just look so cute. You could put this right in a book, for sure, for sure. But let's finish these little pages so they're not sticking up. I mean, you could leave it like that. Why not? Right? You could. It's cute. So I'm gonna just put the glue, press them down. And I think being in the book, it will flatten itself out. But if you do want to, I mean, I'm going to, let's do it because that's how I'm teaching you. But if you decide not to use the glue, that's fine too. I love it. I love it. It's so cute. Isn't it cute? I love it. Boom. That's adorable. So thanks for stopping by. See you next time. Bye.